Thank you guys again for joining us. It's always nice to see your faces once a week, but that's all I can take. So this week, again, we're going to hit some marketing stuff. I just keep getting emails. I don't know if you guys have been getting the emails that I send about these webinars about marketing and tips and all that. And with everything that's going on in the world and the way some people are shifting their life completely, digital marketing is going to be a big key to how we grow and become successful. So we're fortunate enough to have our guest speaker today, but before I introduce him, I'll make sure that we address our staff. We have Brooke, wave Brooke, there you go. Mike Harris. Mike McCabe can't because he's driving and he's being cautious of the other drivers, and BJ Leggett. So thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. I'm excited about this speaker because he's much smarter than me, which is usually what happens with these speakers. And I like to learn. And I think even talking to you guys, I learn a lot from your businesses and what you do and how you do it. And we're blessed to have Aaron. And Aaron came to us actually from one of our other speakers, Max Leverich, who talked about being a service-disabled veteran-owned small business, as well as some federal contracting. And Max has been joining our calls too. I don't know if you've seen his name on here, but speaks very highly of Aaron. And I will let Aaron kind of talk about himself. So, and his past and what he's doing now. So Aaron, welcome.
Well, thanks so much. Definitely appreciate being on here. And first, I just want to say I'm very thankful for you guys. I appreciate your service and definitely love the opportunity to just share kind of what I know. I definitely don't claim to be an expert. That was a very good introduction that Casey gave me. But so Max Leverich, we've actually known each other for several years. We've done some business stuff together, traveled together a little bit, good guy. So I appreciate his endorsement as well. But a little bit about me. So I grew up right here in Springfield, Missouri. So I'm out here in the Midwest, born and raised in this area, and have a big family. Got 5 brothers and sisters, 18 nieces and nephews, very family involved. Grew up on a big farm, 300 acres of cows and horses and chickens and the whole 9 yards. So I still love that. I love getting out and just enjoying that part of things. But been married for 11 years now. Have 2 boys, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. So yeah. My 5-year-old is starting kindergarten next week, which is, those of you who have kids, it's emotional. Like, it's kind of a wake-up call, like, oh, okay, yeah, my kid is going to school now. So, you check your life, I think, at those benchmarks. It's like, okay, what have I done in the last 5 years as a dad? So that's a whole different topic. But so I grew up in family business. My dad was kind of an entrepreneur. I won't get too much in him, but basically went from being a pig farmer, very poor, to running several successful printing businesses. And so I grew up in the printing industry, paper printing, screen printing, embroidery, all that kind of stuff. But more importantly, just the idea of being an entrepreneur. I can't work for somebody else. That was kind of ingrained in me as I started. And for you guys who are business owners, I'm sure you've experienced the exact same thing, that it's like, okay, I need to do something on my own here. So just grew up around that, just entrepreneur mindset, business owner mentality. My dad would have us at 13, we read a couple business books. We had to have our own budget by the time we were 14. We had to have an income producing business in high school. And he was very encouraging. Obviously he'd help fund things. And, as little as I would shine my dad's dress shoes, I'd come up with all kinds of extra chores to do. But just getting that mindset of like doing whatever it takes. So I grew up in, family business. Screen printing was a big part of it. And so at the time, I jumped into graphic design when I was 18, having no knowledge of really how to do it, but just there was a need there for family business. So I jumped in and taught myself how to use programs and just kind of help market things. And that launched me kind of into the next 10 years of graphic design and marketing. That was my main, skill set that I had. So worked in family business, worked for a couple other printing companies, did freelance graphic design and some web design on the side. And then in 2012, me and a couple other guys started a business, which was called One Card. It was a digital business card. And basically the idea was, throw away your paper business cards. We're moving to a digital world where you could create a profile and share your contact information easily with someone else that you meet, and you couldn't lose it because it wasn't a piece of paper. So it was a cool concept. I still appreciate the concept, but here in the Midwest, it was not adopted very quickly, if at all. We have, at least in Springfield, the millionaires in this area are made up of construction, manufacturing, and farming. So, getting them to take a physical piece of paper and, check that out the window was difficult. And I'm sure some of you guys have probably hit the same thing, with your business, where you're running up against that adoption, of people accepting that product or whatever it is. So we had to pivot. I mean, we had to change strategies. At the end of the day, the business did not succeed. We had to shut everything down, kind of go a different direction with things. But, it was a good learning experience. I learned a ton of stuff as far as marketing goes. And from there, went back into the printing industry, did some stuff. And then in 2017, I jumped into real estate full time, which was completely different than what I was used to. Tired of sitting behind a computer all day. I love the relational part of things. I had started reading some real estate books. And so I jumped in full time in 2017, worked with Keller Williams out here in Springfield as an agent. I was somewhat successful, jumped in with my best friend who'd been in real estate for a little while, and sold 35 houses my first year, not really knowing what I was doing, literally just going out and making a mess, talking to as many people as I could. Second year, sold 50 houses. And, then we launched our own brokerage in 2019, January of 2019. So me and my business partner, honestly, we just decided, kind of that entrepreneur mindset. I didn't like being, held to the rules of what Keller Williams did. They're an incredible company, have nothing bad to say about them, but I like the idea of starting my own company, starting fresh, creating that branding, that identity, because in real estate, it is very much a people relational business. And, you're taking somebody through the biggest purchase they're ever going to make. And so, you really have to create that image for yourself. So we started the company with expectations were about 5 agents that we wanted to bring on to the brokerage in our first year. And we ended last year with just shy of 20 agents, a part of the brokerage. And now we're at 33, 34 agents, a part of the brokerage here in just over 18 months. And, a lot of that comes down to the type of people that obviously we brought on, but, also the kind of the image that we portrayed in our community, the services that we provide, and our communication through that. So that's a little bit about me, maybe more than you wanted to know, but there you go.
No, it kind of gives us a good baseline to jump into discussion. But before we do, there's something that everyone needs to know about. Aaron's a nice guy. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy, but he makes bad choices with his football teams. He's a Kansas City Chiefs fan.
Oh, now we're going to start there. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to make you feel a little bit more at home. A little trash talking. I'm in Broncos country. And
I know you are.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, so Aaron, you and I spent some time a couple of weeks ago talking about business and some of the things that you found success in and why marketing has played such a huge role in that. And I kind of wanted to touch on 2 topics and then allow you guys, and as we go, guys, fire questions. Aaron's pretty loose and ready for whatever. The first topic that I think we should address is branding. We have a lot of companies, a lot of guys here that started their businesses from scratch, which, as you know, is a very difficult thing to do. Right. And some of them have a physical product, woodworking, barbecue catering, medical supplies, etc., beard products. So address branding and what that means to you and what kind of things, and talking about a small business or product or service-based business, that we should be looking at.
Yeah, definitely. First, Chris, Thank you for backing me on the Chiefs. I appreciate that. Mahomes for life. Okay, now we got that out of the way. Yeah, so branding to me is, I think it is extremely important, especially for a small business, because um, very few times do you have a product or a service that is completely brand new, right? You've got a product that people can get somewhere else, or you have a service that people can get somewhere else. So why would they use you? And to me, that's the question that I feel like you have to ask yourself with any business. It's, why would a customer use me? What is my value add? Have you guys read the book Story Brand? I don't know if you guys have heard of the book called Story Brand. Okay, please go get that book. It's incredible. So basically he talks about building a story brand. And the cool part about the book is it's not just a read this book, it's a full how-to guide. It's like, okay, put down this book, write this out, create a plan. And essentially the idea is creating a business where your client is the hero of the story and you are helping them with their need. You're a guide coming alongside them to help them with whatever need that is. And when you start filtering your decisions through that, and it's more about the customer and the client, and it's less about you, I feel like your branding changes. Your overall voice, as far as the way you sound on social media or the way your marketing looks, is less about used car salesman, look at me, come buy a car from me, I'm the man. And it's more about, how do we solve this problem for you? And so, I mean, in the real estate world, in our market, so give you an idea, Springfield is roughly 200,000 people within the city, and it goes up to probably 400,000 on a work day. But there's 2,500 real estate agents just in this kind of smaller community, which is very saturated. And so when I got started, it was, my question was, how do I separate myself from everyone else? What does my branding look like? What is my niche that I'm trying to solve? And so I don't know exactly, as far as branding goes, if you want me to talk about strategies or just the overall concept of branding, but
yeah. So I think one of the things that at least I see a lot in not just working with veterans, but other businesses is who am I, and how do I develop who I am? So I'm just going to pick on Bill Glass and say I have a beard product company, and I also sell soaps and candles. So those are things that okay, they're in the bathroom, they make sense, they go together. How can I differentiate myself from the 200 others that are on Facebook constantly veteran owned? Okay, now maybe there's 20 others that are veteran owned. So how can I continue to break down my brand to find the baseline that really does differentiate me? And sometimes, and I don't know if you think of this, Aaron, but sometimes it's really the color of the logo. It's the logo, it's the feel that people see. So I don't know,
right.
kind of talking about a baseline and building from there and how you would go about that.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So that's a really good point. And it's actually funny that you brought that up, because my business partner's parents, they run a candle company, and it's veteran owned. He's been in military, retired military, and that's kind of one of the things that they do, which is cool that you said that. But yes, as far as strategies within branding, I think one of the key things that I have figured out is to make sure that your brand reflects who you are, and you're not trying to be someone that you're not. Because if you're constantly trying to put out this image of whatever this business is, but it's not really a reflection of who you are, you will struggle to keep that brand alive, because it's not a reflection of you. And as a small business owner, I'm sure you guys have ran into the same thing, where people are buying the products because it's you versus just the product itself a lot of times. So I think you do have to be very specific on who you are, put thought into what your personality is like, let that show in your products. What your likes and dislikes are, let that show. And then balance that obviously with whatever the industry that you're in, maybe those industry standards. So, color of logo, absolutely. I mean, I think, obviously going back to my graphic design roots, I get really excited about logos, and I think they are extremely powerful. I probably get more excited than they actually warrants them. But like for example, the Baskin Robbins logo, how it has the B and the R, and it makes the 13 for the flavors, like things like that I geek out on. But I think it's very important to have a really cool, identifiable logo that does reflect who you are, but it's something that is timeless. It's something that is clean and modern, and we can get into all kinds of specifics as far as no drop shadows and get rid of gradients, get back to solid colors, and things like that. But obviously it's a case by case basis. The other thing I'll say with the branding, and we can kind of keep going, but make sure it's consistent. Make sure it's consistent across all platforms, across all signage, across everything. And it sounds like it would be common sense, but I mean, you guys have all seen the lawn care companies that have a different logo on their truck and a different logo on their shirt and a different font on their Facebook page and if you're trying to create a brand loyalty and an identity for your company, that all has to be consistent in everything, your social media posts, everything. So that's just a little side note.
Yeah, I love that. And it kind of reflects, it reflects how you deliver the product or service. So if you got two different logos, or who's going to show up today? Are they going to actually show up and do the job that they're supposed to or not? We talk about, like, we're all on shoestring budgets pretty much. So in developing a logo, and I actually had a conversation with my food truck apprentice a few weeks ago about this, that he wanted to pay someone like $6,000, which is probably, I mean, I don't know. I actually don't know that world that well, but to develop a logo and spend time with him and get to know him and his wife and the food and taste it and the feel and the energy. I mean, on a shoestring budget, that's really not an option. So what the advice I gave him was just pick two colors and pick the font and don't think about it. And then as it develops and grows, because you might shift. I mean, beard oil may shift into shampoo, and that's a different that's a different type of person. That's a different market. And so it may be different colors. So just being careful not to spend too much money up front. I don't know if that's something that you see often, but yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing, and you guys obviously don't know me, but I'm an extremely lean business owner. In other words, I take full advantage of every free thing I can get my hands on. I take advantage of everything I can do personally. And I totally agree. And I'm a graphic designer, and I used to expect to get paid for, what I was doing. So, if you're a designer, please don't shoot me. But there are lots of ways for you to get logos for cheaper. There are free services online that you can, templated logos and stuff like that you can use. Here's another quick tip. If you do get things screen printed or embroidered at a local print shop, a lot of times they will help you design something that you're going to put on your shirt for free. And sometimes that's a logo. So for example, I've had people, when I worked at the print shop, they would come in, hey, I'm starting a company, this is the name, whatever, I want to get shirts made. Well, as a part of the shirt price, I would do the design work, and I would basically design them a logo. And so, and that was a free thing that we provided. Now, maybe not every, company does that, but that's something to look into. As far as pricing goes, I mean, obviously it's different on what all they're doing, but take it in tiers. It is not a bad thing to rebrand, as you're going along and as you're growing. Getting started to pay somebody $5,000 or $6,000 for a logo and a lookbook and a font guide and a color scheme and stuff like that, to me is kind of excessive. Now, if they're also providing you brand strategy, video production, Facebook ads, I mean, then it maybe it's something to look into. But if you're just looking for, hey, I'm getting started and I need a logo, Fiverr, if you guys have ever heard of Fiverr, you can get logos done for super cheap. There's all kinds of people on there that'll design logos for cheap. And then Adobe Spark Post. Okay, if you're familiar with Adobe programs, of course they do Photoshop and Illustrator and Premiere and stuff like that. That's what a lot of designers use. But there's an app called Adobe Spark Post. Whenever I downloaded it, it was free. I don't know if it still is, but basically it's a way to create really cool looking ads and templates. They have free templates and stuff on there, and they had some free logo stuff on there. So that might be something to look into if you're moving that way. And it really is good for posting on social media. Let's say you just need to design something real quick. You know, you don't want to pay a designer. Adobe Spark Post, you can kind of manipulate the text and the colors and add your logo and post it and be done.
No, this is great. I mean, as to kind of recap a lot of what we talked about, and then I think it's a good opportunity to shift into some of the social media and tangible action
Mm-hmm.
type stuff for the market. You know, the first thing you said, I loved it. Just you have to be true to yourself. You have to be representative of yourself. You know, I'm not going to go and sell the beard products because I don't know anything about that. It's not who I am, so I can't represent that well. And actually, some of you know Ray Watkins, who works for Team Semper Fi, and he always says, if you always tell the truth, you never have to remember what you said. So if we're doing the same thing in business and how we market, it's, well, I don't really remember that ad, but it still reigns true 5 years later. So sticking to that. And I love the free resources. Thank you for firing. I was actually a question I had is what kind of free resources are out there. And as we go, if you have those, just fire them. I'm writing them down. We're taking notes. So we'll recap after.
Sure.
But I'd like to transition a little bit. And I think this is where a lot of our questions are going to come from is digital world. We have woodworkers, we have the steel workers, et cetera, selling things online, driving traffic to the website, trying to get a phone call to close a catering deal. Talk a little bit about social media marketing, just basics, nuts and bolts, what to look for, who to look for, how much to pay, et cetera. I think that's a great place to start.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It goes without saying that the way we acquire clients a lot of times are through social media, especially if you're a product-based business. I mean, service-based businesses, you know, are the same way too, but you know, products, you know, you can create a cool ad campaign where they can click buy now and it goes to their website and they purchase the product and they're done. You know, service, that takes a little bit more of an action where they have to call you or email you or whatever, but you know, I'm in a service industry through real estate. So as far as social media goes, when we got started, once again, going back to that lean model of business, I was not convinced to spend a bunch of money on Facebook ads whenever I got into real estate. So I joined my business partner, and he had like maybe 5 friends on Facebook and didn't do anything on Facebook. And, you know, basically had done real estate business through handshakes and things like that, which was working for him. But obviously that's not something, I mean, we want to brand ourselves in a bigger way. So I got started. Obviously, I started putting some more branding together. And one of the things we did, social media, Facebook was our primary, and a little bit of Instagram. And I think, and that's it. And I think people think that they've got to try and get on every platform they possibly can, and they've got to be on Twitter, and they've got to be on Pinterest, and they've got to be on Snapchat and TikTok and all this stuff. And those places have value, but it really depends on where your clientele is coming from, right? So, you know, I know we keep picking on the beard company, but you know, to me, that's perfect for Instagram, because Instagram is very photo based. It's very heavily photo based and video based. And to me, you know, the type of people who are scrolling through Instagram, you do a cool photo with in regards to beards and things like that. I feel like that fits well. But obviously Facebook, let's just kind of stick on Facebook because I feel like it's just kind of probably the majority of what people use. So when we got started, my whole thing was we need to build a following first. Okay, we have to have what's called social proof. In other words, if anybody looks up, at the time it was the Adam Johnson team, but you know, at Alpha Realty, if somebody looks on Alpha Realty, I don't want them to show up to our page and we have 50 likes on our page. Okay, so there's multiple ways of getting likes on your page. Number one, you can pay for likes. They're kind of hollow, you know, but they do get you the social proof. In other words, they get you that when someone goes to your site or your Facebook page and they see you have a bunch of likes, at least, you know, it shows you're credible. But I wanted to try to boost that without spending money on ads. So what we did is we did a monthly giveaway video Okay. And all we did was we created like literally it fit our voice. So if you've heard of talking about a branding voice, it's just the way that someone hears you through social media. So good example. Are you guys all familiar with Dollar Shave Club? Okay. Dollar Shave Club, right? So yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thumbs down. So if you've seen any of their marketing, they're very sarcastic. Their first video they came out with was a guy, walking through a warehouse, like, you know, are our razors good? No, they're effing great. And it was like, it literally was just kind of that vibe as far as what they put out. So for us, we didn't take ourselves too seriously. So we created these ridiculous giveaway videos. We'd put on shorts and like, do a workout video. We did, just some funny stuff. And the whole point of it was we gave away some gift, and we had that gift sponsored by some other business. Okay. So we weren't even paying for the giveaway gift. And it would be like $100 massage to a local spa, and we had them pay for it. So we would approach the business and say, hey, we're building following on this. A couple of our videos have gotten several thousand views. Would you want to be a part of it? You can give away a gift. We'll mention you in the business, whatever. I think that one, actually, my business partner got his chest waxed. That was part of the video. And it honestly, I think we had 6,000 or 7,000 views. We didn't pay for any of it. We gave away one massage, and it built up. In order to get the giveaway, you had to like our Facebook page. Okay, boom, there's your likes. And you had to share the video. So they shared the video, and these people are seeing it, and they're trying to get this giveaway. And so we literally did that. We went from, I think we went from 100 people liking our page, and it was like our family who'd like our real estate page, to over 2,000 likes on our page, not paying for a single one of them. And so just getting creative, once again, it goes back to that kind of lean marketing. We did once a month, we did a giveaway video, and we had someone else sponsor the giveaway. And it was a substantial giveaway. It was $100 to $200 of value, enough to get people to want that. Now you could do your own personal products, giveaway. But that's the lane we chose to get likes on our page. Then once we had likes on our page, now we have the social proof. Then we can start doing some really good targeted material that people are looking for. So you guys have probably heard of content marketing. Essentially what content marketing is, you're creating content that people are looking for, okay, not about your business. So, there's different stats out there, but the last one I heard is 80% of what you post on Facebook should be content that people are looking for. 20% should be about your business. Okay. So kind of keep that as a filter. Let's say you're creating, your Facebook post for that week. And if every single one of your posts are, come buy my products, check out how awesome we are, right? This is about me, visit our website, call us today. All of that stuff is very inward focused, right? Whereas the content side would be more like, I'm going to post a blog post about how, depending on your industry. So we'll talk about, for me, 5 ways to get your house ready to sell in the spring market. Okay. Does that have to do with call me to sell your house? No, but it has to do with real estate. And all of a sudden our name's attached to it. It's stuff that people are looking for. Polls. Which one would you prefer, dark cabinets or white cabinets? Once again, nothing about buying or selling a house, but it's real estate related and it's content for them. We could talk about refi stuff. You could say something, we were just talking about that before. In this market, the 3 things you need to know before you refinance your house. It's just content marketing. It could be a video clip. It could be text based. It could be image based, whatever it is, but it's content marketing. And then we slide in new listing, come see us today at our open house. And then it's a little bit more, it's received better because we're giving them more than we're trying to take. And we kind of become an expert in that industry through that content. So sorry, kind of got off on a tangent there, but.
That was beautiful. The content marketing, we see it every day when we're on social media. We just don't know what it
Hmm.
is or how to use it. And
Yeah.
it's just a tool. It's just a tool that we can all use and leverage. But I love that 5 ways to, and for you, that's science backed. It's data backed
Hmm.
because of your experience. And everybody on this call, Chris and the medical distribution, and the PPE stuff. 5 reasons why you should wear a mask according to expert so and so. And oh, by the way,
And
I
it's not a
wrote
bad
this. Yeah.
idea. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
Yeah.
off, but it's not a bad idea to pull in some of those hot topic things. Whatever is happening current and now, tie that into your business somehow. And you don't have to be an expert writer when it comes to writing these blogs out and things like that. Once again, there are options out there for content writers. My wife has an English degree, so I utilize her probably way more than she would want me to. But you probably know somebody who could write. You could do a general outline and then have someone else kind of look over and edit it. But the cool thing is that is also something that you could put on your website in your blog tab as SEO rankings, because the more content you can put on your website, Google's going to see that. It's going to help, index you to a higher ranking. So utilize the same content on multiple platforms. So for example, if you have a really good thing, like you said, maybe it is 5 ways, or 5 reasons you should wear a mask if you're in this industry or whatever it is. Create a blog about it and post it on your website, post it on your social media, and record a quick video on it. And then if you're on Instagram, record a quick Insta story that's 15 seconds long of you wearing a mask and saying something like, hey, I'm sure you're wanting to know why, if you should wear a mask or shouldn't wear a mask. Here's a blog post that I created, link in my bio. And so you're using the same content, but you're just hitting on maybe some different angles, and you can, multi-purpose.
What I love about this is it's free.
That's right.
It's your time, your energy. And there's a question here that I want to get to, but I think that's the misconception is I have to pay for marketing. I have to pay for marketing. And it's too, I don't have the money. I don't have the budget. Well, there's a point where I think, and this is probably a completely different meeting, but you have to pay to market. At some point, you're gonna have to put some money towards it.
Mm-hmm.
So one question that we got, and it's a great question, and actually is something maybe you had to face when you first started in the real estate business. And the question is, should I start a business Facebook page? And the context around it is, or should I just promote through my own personal Facebook page?
Absolutely, you need a business Facebook page. You definitely do. To me, there is value in using your personal profile. However, you are very limited on what you can do on a personal profile, number one. And number two, all your friends and family are going to get tired of you posting business stuff on your personal page. They need to be separate. Now, once again, use both of them. In other words, on your personal page, yes, you can promote your business. On your page, your business page, show your personal side. So it doesn't have to all be about business. If you are a solopreneur, a one man show, and you're the one who's creating everything, take a picture of you in the shop doing your woodworking. Take a picture of you also spending time with your family. See, to me, I mean, I get a lot of interaction on posts that I do that is just purely personal. Like I'm going for a walk with my family and I'll post that on a business page, and it shows that you're a real person. It shows that you're relatable. So you can definitely, you can tie both those, but yes, get a business page because you need that social proof. And once again, it's one more free website that is indexing back to your website, to help with SEO rankings.
Yeah, great. I love it. And this leads to another question. I'm a little bit out of order, but I think this is a good way to insert this question. So these guys are solopreneurs. They're working with a few other subcontractors, et cetera. And time is hard. It's hard to how do I manage my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, whatever. So is there and I know there's not an exact science, but in your eyes, and every situation is different, but at what point do you kind of look at maybe outsourcing that? And what does that usually cost to have someone manage your social media?
Yeah, that's a great question. As far as on one side of things, if you're brand new and you're just kind of trying to get things rolling on your social media yourself, to me, it goes back to just the general idea of time blocking. I can create an entire week's worth of content in about 30 minutes. And I can do that at night. I can do that early in the morning. You know, basically what I do is I create a spreadsheet. I create typically ahead of time, I'll put some sort of thought into 10 different types of posts that I can post on my page. I can post current events, product information, a blog post, sharing other people's content, whatever the categories are, let's say. And then literally I can sit down at the beginning of the week. I select this one, and this one. I go get that content. I grab a free image. Here's a tip, unsplash.com. Free, royalty-free images. You can download them, you can use them, no permissions, no cost, okay? A lot of them are a little bit hipster photos. So, but they're cool, like free pictures, you know, you can use those for your posts. So that's something. So I'll just go through 30 minutes to an hour and I can create an entire week's post, because on Facebook through your page, you can schedule your posts. Okay. So I literally go on to my business page. I go to publishing, post publishing, I think is what it's called. And I'll create 3 or 4 posts. My general rule, I get this question a lot. How often should I post? To me, I don't like more than once a day. Now, if you talk to other people, there's some people that say multiple times per day you should be in front of people, but I like once a day. I like once every other day sometimes. I guess it just depends on your product, but create the ads, schedule them for those days, and you're done. Then after that, it's just managing, you know, you get comments, like the comments, you get messages in, you know, that kind of thing. But as far as outsourcing that out, I'm probably not the best person to talk to on that, because I've never outsourced social media because I've just done it myself. So as far as cost involved, I know there's lots of different strategies there. I actually sat down with a guy who was just going to do our Facebook ads. In other words, he was just going to create the ads. He was going to manage the, you know, if it was a cost per click, or if it was, I can't remember what he was going to work on. Either way, it was like a retainer. We were going to pay him $300 or $400 per month, and he was going to create the ads and manage the ads up to a certain amount. You know, and so that is an option. I don't know if that, to be honest with you, as far as price goes, you know, managing your social media, I've seen companies charge $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 to manage large campaigns, but I don't think you should be spending more than a few $100 a month to have someone come alongside you and help you with your social media ads or content. And honestly, you could probably get a hold of some of these college kids that are literally in college and they understand how everything works, but you can pay them just, you know, a minimal amount for them to take over helping with your social media stuff.
Beer money.
There you go. Exactly. Pizza money.
Yeah. Yeah. No, nobody drinks beer on this call. A few years ago, I took it was probably more than a few, it was probably about 6 years ago, I took a social media kind of course through the Semper Fi Fund, and each person from each department took it. And they talked about how important it was for the time of day to post. Mm-hmm. Now, I know that, and that may not have changed, but I know that so many algorithms and things change with Facebook, and you can filter things a certain way and whatever. But that was another thing that I just wanted to throw out there that I know is important. And you may not have time to do it at the time that you're supposed to release it, but Aaron, you can create the post and say, I want it to release at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, right?
That's exactly right. Yep. And in our busy schedules, I mean, I live by that, because I never just have, wow, I've got an hour of free time here, I'm just going to create some content, because it'll never get done. Other things will take priority, and all of a sudden you'll look down and you haven't posted anything in 2 weeks. And to me, you know, it is, consistency is king when it comes to posting stuff. I would not get hung up so much on what you post, although you need to think about that. I would think more on how often you post, because that's another form of social proof. Some people will go on there and say, oh, you haven't posted anything since April. Are you still in business? Are you still doing anything? So that scheduling tool is huge, and you can batch, you know, put stuff together, you know, so that it goes out more consistently for you. And you can do a whole month. If you're able to sit down on a Saturday and create 4 or 5 hours and knock out the entire month, great. But some of the stuff that you post needs to be relevant to that moment. So
sure, if you're selling masks, you could repost what the president said, that nobody wearing a mask is patriotic. Nobody's more patriotic than him. Like him or not, doesn't matter. It's useful, and it's useful content.
you
And
didn't tell me there was a political side to this conversation.
there's not. I'm just free flowing here. All
I'm
right.
kidding.
So along the lines of content, I have another great question. And this is a marketing strategy that I think you kind of learn in business school, but I don't know if it's not relevant anymore or if it's kind of frowned upon. But the question is, how do you feel about marketing with competitor comparisons? So maybe not bashing them, because you never want to talk negative about, you never want to be negative, but if there is a legitimate difference between your product and somebody else's, but they're getting all the money, that needs to be pointed out without bashing them. How do you feel about that? And if you would talk just a little bit about that.
I think you're right. I think done properly, it will educate the other people and not offend the other people. Because, we've all seen those ads where it's like, I know what you were trying to do there, but it came across, not the right way, in a negative way, like you should, like you said. I don't think it's a bad idea to compare yourself to the other businesses in town. I would probably put that secondary to just showing more about what you can provide for the client. So default to, this is my product. This is how awesome this product is. This is why I can help you. And oh, by the way, it's also 50% less fat than our competitor. And so it kind of is like a little icing on the cake. Like, they already liked the product. They like what you're able to do for them. And wow, it's half the cost. Or wow, it truly is, well, better made. And if you can show some of that stuff and filter that into some of your posts, absolutely. I think there are there's probably some powerful ways to do that through photos, versus just calling it out in text. I'm actually just literally thinking through this right now, but let's say you show a product side by side and you blur out the other image or something, and and maybe do something with what facts that yours is different. So actually, I've got a good example. The candle company that we have here is it's soy-based candles, and they use some sort of specific wick or something. Well, it doesn't make your jar black. And so they actually had a side-by-side of two candles, and one was completely black all around the glass jar at the top, and theirs was not. And it was halfway burned down or mostly burned down. And it didn't say anything about the competitor. It just said, our products are soy-based and doesn't leave behind a stain or something like that. Like, to me, that's accomplishing the same thing. It's showing that your product is better and the other one is inferior, but it's not saying these guys are idiots, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think, Rick, that was you that asked that question, right? Yeah, and Rick's a woodworker, and he asked a great question last week during a Zoom call about a product and how to make it. And so thinking along these lines, it's so important, because especially with, like, you sell a product to somebody, and if it warps, if that wood product, that table, that picnic table warps, they're not going to buy from you again, most likely, or they'll come back to you and say, hey, can you fix this? And then they're going to tell everybody about it, and you want them to talk about you, but in a positive way. And because we live in this social media world, there's so many pictures. You get a t-shirt in the mail and it's not what you'd expected, or there's a rip and the company won't do anything about it. Well, I'm going to write about it. I'm going to post about it. I went to P.F. Chang's a couple years ago and ordered an appetizer, and as I was getting through it, there was a flaming hot Cheeto in my appetizer. Well, I know they don't sell that out there, and I know it's against the law to be eating that in the kitchen. And so I said to the waiter, hey, I don't want to be a jerk, but like, this is not cool. And he goes, oh my gosh, he took it away, brought us another one. And I said, oh, that was nice. And then he still charged us for it. And I said, I'm not the guy that's going to do that, because it's $13, and that's just my personality. Some people on this call will probably be raging, and I would love to have dinner with you so we can get a free meal. But But then as I'm walking out of the restaurant, I said, you know what? Something doesn't feel right. So I went up to the manager and I explained what happened. I said, the guy was nice, but I think as a leader, you need to understand like this happened, do whatever you want with it. And he goes, okay, thanks. Have a good night. And I went, whoa, 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 whoa. It's worse than I thought over here. So my wife, and I don't do the tweeter thing, but she did, and hashtag PF Chang's and the picture and the whole thing. And we got a phone call the next day. Somehow they got a hold of us and said, the manager called and said, I am so sorry. That was a mistake, and gave us $50. And what could have only cost them 13 ended up costing them 50. And we did check to make sure there were no Cheetos in our next order, but take care of that up front. And I think that's kind of important too, as we talk about social media, and your brand is represented of not just the color, not just the logo, not just the name, but the actions after the sale. Because yeah, we want to sell product and move product, but if it's bad and people talk bad about us, if we aren't addressing that, I mean, we've all read reviews of products that, like, wow, how could this company do that to that customer? And they do nothing about it. They didn't even write back to explain their side of the conversation. That's bad. Maybe I won't buy from them. And so we all don't want to be that way. But anyway, I wanted to share that story.
You bring up a really good point, because follow-up is more important than the initial sale. So your follow-up after the sale is way more important than the initial sale, because you're taking someone who purchased something from you that also knows hundreds of people that you don't know. And you there's another book called Raving Fans. And it just talks about how to create raving fans. And your story about PF Chang's, that was an opportunity, not that they wanted to make a mistake, but they literally could have made you the biggest PF Chang's fan in the world, because they made a mistake, and they could have gone over and above to make that situation right then, and made you feel like, wow, this is crazy. Like, if anything were to ever happen again, I know they would take care of me. I'm going to tell people about that experience. And so the follow-up when someone purchases something is huge. In the real estate world, real estate agents are so excited to get their commission check as soon as it closes, and they go skipping to the bank, and then they never talk to that person again. And that is the biggest pitfall, because that person is your lifeblood for your business as you move forward. And all it takes is I probably have, and I have a strategy on this, but I probably have 3 to 10 points of contact or touch points with that person in the first 6 to 9 months after they purchase a house from me. In other words, after they close the deal, they're hearing from me a week later. They're hearing from me a month later. They're hearing from me 3 months later. And all I'm doing is checking in on the house. How are things going? Awesome. Hey, just want to let you know, here's a great lawn care company if you ever need something done on your lawn. And it has nothing to do with me, but once again, it's just following up. And what do you know? I get referrals from those people all the time, because I'm staying top of mind with them even after the sale. And I think that's part of it too. There are some companies that do a really good job on the follow-up after the sale. And those people become clients for life, because the touch points are huge. Even after the sale, they refer them to friends, they refer them to family, they buy again, all because of that communication.
Yeah, this is where sales and marketing overlap. And
that's right,
because you're still marketing yourself to somebody you've already sold to. And buying a home is such a personal, emotional thing. I don't know how you deal with some of the things that people do, but it's that's a part of your brand also, and that's important. And I think we have people on here that sell thousands of products a day, and some that only sell one a week. So it's easier for the one a week, and they're also a little higher price point, et cetera. So to follow up with every customer is probably an impossibility if you're selling thousands and thousands, unless you have a staff that can do that. We have a guy he's not on here, but sells coffee, and he writes a personal handwritten note. He started the company to everybody who orders from him online to say thank you. And he has a whole separate mission that his revenues feed. So I had another good question, actually came from a staff member about your brand and your motto and your naming. And it's a good question because it is important when people they hear your name and what do you do? Can we associate that quickly? And the question is, how important is the naming of your brand versus a catchy motto? And I'll let you answer that, and I'll kind of, he broke down a little bit more about his question, but it was kind of and I guess I'll just say this: we have a guy in our program that has the name of his company, but if you looked at it, you wouldn't have a clue what it was. And but he has a motto that's like, whoa, that's fantastic, I want that. But it was a second level, it was a second touch. So if you want to talk a little bit about that and the importance of one way or the other, and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings about that, because if you do a good job with your marketing, I don't think your name matters. I think it is important starting off to create a memorable name. If you're A1 blah blah blah, or you use a generic word for your name, it's easy for that to go in one ear and out the other. So, for example, our name is Alpha Real Estate. Okay, so to us, there's several meanings behind the name Alpha, but for us, it was kind of a unique enough word that we also paired with real estate, so you know what we're doing, or Alpha Realty. You know exactly what we're doing. That's why we picked that. So I think it is important as you're picking your name, but nobody knew what Nike was before it was Nike. I mean, that doesn't describe shoes, right? Apple doesn't describe products. So eventually, at some point, that doesn't matter. But I think that as you're starting off and you're a small business, it's probably a good idea to put some thought into your name, and for your branding to also be recognizable. Because if that stuff's recognizable and it points back to what you do and it's memorable, Dollar Shave Club literally just tells what they do. I mean, there's no fluff in it. It's literally, that's it. And you can be as ironic as that name, or you can come up with something different. I think it's just a matter of figuring out your voice and making sure that the motto, let's say that this guy who has, a weird first name of his company, but the motto really describes it, that needs to be very evident in all of his marketing so people understand what it is. Or, he uses pictures or imagery or videos that go along with his industry, so you just know exactly what that is.
Yeah, great breakdown. I love it. So we're starting to get down to our last few minutes. We don't want to keep you too long. I have a question from Bill Glass, our beard guy. They go to a lot of farmers markets, sell a lot of product there, and
Yeah.
they have people that look for them at the market. We let them know that we're online, but they wait for the market, and then they complain that the market is only once a month. How do you attack that? And I have my own opinions that, Bill, we can talk about offline, but I want to hear the pro.
Man, that's interesting. I'm assuming those people probably bought their very first product from you at a farmer's market, and they associate themselves directly just with that purchase. It's hard to move people out of avenues of purchasing. How do you transition them over? Maybe give them some sort of discount the first time they purchase online. Like, here's a promo code for 10% off your first purchase online, and you hand them a card or something that gets them to purchase. Or maybe, maybe talk to them about hand delivering the first product to them, or subscription or something. I mean, I don't know. Something where you can get in front of them more often. Maybe it is a message in between your farmers markets directly to them. If you have their contact information, an email, phone call, whatever, saying, hey, I know you mentioned the last time you were frustrated that you weren't able to get products, except once a month. I just want to let you know, you can go online right now and order this product. And I've actually set you up with a, easy link here. I'll text it to you. You can click it and purchase the product, and maybe just try to move them over that way. I have a barber that's actually kind of in the same boat. He started off small town barber and literally just got texts from his buddies like, hey, can you cut my hair? Sure, come in at 2:00. Well, now he's gotten a decent following, and he cannot field text messages all day. He wants people to go to his website, and book it online. And so he kind of did that same thing a little bit, where he told everybody, you need to book online. and he still got a few people that were just still texting him. And finally he just said, hey, his response back was, the only way I can book it due to our new system was for you to book it online, and just kind of gave them a little bit of an ultimatum to force people that way. And then as soon as they started doing it, they realized it was easier to book it online anyway. But no, I feel your pain. That is a little bit, that's hard to get people to transition from the way they're used to purchasing, you know. But if you make it fun and exciting, you know, like Domino's, you know, people might be used to calling Domino's for delivery or going and picking it up, but now they have their new pizza tracker tool, you know, and you go on their app and you purchase it and they give you $5 off your purchase for using the app, and you can track your pizza the whole way. It's kind of a fun and exciting way, the same way to get the pizza, but it gets people to move more to automated.
Yeah, I mean, the promo code is definitely an awesome idea, and I appreciate that. I feel like at the farmers markets, I'm dealing with tree huggers. I don't, they, you know, it's like a different community, I guess, and elderly, of course, but they're all, like, we started 2 markets ago, we started doing a contact sheet because we started letting people know about our classes that are about to start when our building is complete. And I lost my train of thought. It's gone. Sorry.
No worries.
That's all right. I wanted to share something similar about driving traffic to a site. So I worked for the Olympic Committee for a couple of years, and most of you probably don't know this name, but Bob Beamon holds the Olympic long jump record. It's almost 30 feet. It's 3/4 of an inch under 30 feet. So it's impressive. So what we did was, we were in Chicago for an event. We were trying to get more likes on our Facebook page. For some reason, the Olympic movement was a little bit behind. And so Bob came out, they paid him to show up. Now, obviously we all can't pay celebrities, but, and you had a little coupon code, and you get your picture made with him. But in order to keep the picture, you had to go onto this code, like the page, and then it was emailed to you. They didn't allow cell phones. They didn't allow cameras in there. So there was some pain for them not to follow through with this. But people did it because this guy's, he was born in 46. He's getting old, and you won't get a chance to meet the guy. And he shook everybody's hand, and his hand is huge, and it was a cool experience. And so maybe it's something like, for you, Bill, it's, hey, take a picture with me and I'll give you a code for 10% off. But you got to order online, take a picture of me, you holding the beer product, smiling. Now it's more content. Now you can use that for more social media content later, or on your website or whatever. So just a thought, but that was great.
Yeah. I think it will be hard to get away. I noticed somebody posted something about alienating an entire generation. You know, you try to go online, and I get where you're coming from, because there are certain people who are old school, and you're probably always going to have those people who are going to buy from you at a farmer's market. But the vast majority that you can push online, the better, and getting strategies together where you move completely online, and, you know, it's not a bad idea.
I remembered my question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your offer that you were offering people? You were talking earlier about a promo or whatever. What were you offering? The monthly thing. Where is it? The monthly giveaway video. What were you offering the customer?
Yeah.
To enter, to partake?
All they had to do was like our Facebook page and share the video. That's it. So the only thing we were trying to get out of that was likes on our page, and basically awareness of our brand. And so people were sharing these videos, and we get 5,000 to 7,000 views, and we get 50 to 100 shares, not paid. Like, that was just from people doing that, because the giveaway was substantial enough. You know, we gave away 2 tickets to see Justin Timberlake in Tulsa and hotel night stay, you know, and we got that sponsored by a lender here in Springfield. So we didn't even pay for that, but we got all the benefits from it because they were liking our page and sharing the video.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I love that. So that gives us some good stuff to take back. I didn't even, I mean, you think about it, I've liked pages, like and share a page for a chance to win a trip to the Bahamas. Awesome. Yeah, I'll do that. What is it to me? Because I can block the content later.
Right.
But for you, it does build that credibility and it puts you in a different category and the algorithms and the whole thing. And that's a whole nother conversation. But this has been educational for me. I've taken a lot from this. I really enjoyed this, and I hope that you guys have too, and can apply some of these principles that he's talked about. Aaron, if you are okay with guys reaching out to you, they can go through our advisor and to you. Is that okay? And we'll just make sure that okay. Great.
Yep. Reach out with anything.
Great. Well, guys, that's all we had today, unless there's any other questions. But man, what an opportunity. What a gift. I'm recording this again. So if you need it, talk to your advisor. We'll get the link sent out. And yeah, I think next week we're going to actually be off. But in closing, I also want to say, check your emails, get your information to your advisor about the catalog. This is another way to help market your business, get a picture and the whole thing and everything they're asking for. So we can get that out, because I know you guys want to work together. We want you to do that also. So let's push that. More marketing. I love it.
I think Jason Reed had a question.
Fire away, babe.
All right. So what you're talking about, I don't know if anyone has been to classicfirearms.com, but I recommend everybody go and take a look. They do a drawing every month to do this kind of marketing that you're talking about. They give away like $8,000 firearms every month. Yeah.
Wow.
It's shocking. I don't know how they do it, but you know, you've got to go and you've got to like their page. There's like 15 things you've got to do for these guys to actually be entered into this. And you can do it like, 20 different times throughout the month. So all kinds of content, and, you can get lots of points for sending friends over to it. So they do a really good job of this. And I think everyone could probably learn from them just by looking at them. So thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. And that brings up one closing thing that I'll say is, most marketing is not original. Most ideas are not original. You're just taking pieces of everybody's and creating your own thing. So the whole is original, but it's all been pieced together. And so just don't be afraid to try stuff either. And tap into your advisors, tap into these speakers. And if you come up with great ideas, share them. That's what this is all about. And we'll get everybody connected soon. So guys, thank you again. Aaron, thank you. We appreciate you very much. And we'll be in touch. Everybody have a great day.